Hi, everyone. This is Gary, and welcome to tonight's live webinar for the Investor Agent Training Program. And as usual, we might have some people on who have been through the program on how to buy rentals. That was well over about a year and a half ago, and they still log in. And also people who are going through the flip development program are also, for the most part, already investor agents. So we've got a great mixture of people here. We also have a lot of new folks. Welcome aboard, you guys, from Nashville and Atlanta, and possibly a few more from from Stewart Beach this past Monday, 2 days ago Monday. We should have a few new folks on from there. But a lot of new folks from the southeast quadrant of the United States. So welcome aboard and join the group. We've got people here literally from coast to coast, California to Maine, up in Canada, from Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, and all over the United States. Okay, couple of quick things here, guys. My schedule. I'm wrapping up things in Orlando this week. Next week, of course, I'm off, and there will be no webinar next week. I do have one dinner engagement with Ken and Tammy Monday night. I will be accessible. You can certainly call me if you need anything. After that, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, I go out to California, and I will be there literally until the Sunday before Christmas. I'll be there 3 solid straight weeks, starting up in Sacramento. So if you're on the webinar tonight and you're from, let's see, I've taught out there in Stockton. Let's see, several other sites out there, mostly in the Bay Area. I'll be up there the first week, and the latter 2 weeks I'll be down in the LA area. Okay, so keep that in mind. So for the 3 weeks in December, I will be 3 hours behind all the East Coasters. I'll be on Pacific time. So the webinars will remain the same time in December, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And if you're out on the West Coast and you want me to come to a workshop you're putting on, please let me know a few weeks in advance, and I'll stop by your town and help you do your first live workshop. Okay. Okay, tonight's subject, guys, here's what we're going to do. I've had a couple of emails, namely from Scott Mosley, who's new. Welcome, Scott. Welcome to the group. He was asking about the school report and some other information that was kind of in the first module. And also Peter Lamb, who's a veteran, was asking about melissadata.com. So I have both of those screens pulled up. We'll get to them here in a minute. And so what I'm going to do tonight, and it's so funny how things work, the power of attraction. I was strongly considering going back over the first module because we haven't done it for a long time. We've always tend to focus on the marketing campaigns, which obviously that's what everybody's, 90% of you want to do anyways. But I thought I'd go back to the fundamentals because it has been popping up on a regular basis lately. And lo and behold, I get 2 emails, both of them related to that first module. So we're going to go over that. We're going to step through the sequence of events that you go through, the sequence of activities to identify the exact proper areas to invest in, and obviously take your investors to invest in. I'm also going to show you how to get an Excel spreadsheet that can be used, that actually is the model for this report. I've got it saved on my computer. I've got one right here that we're looking at right now. Okay. And I'm going to make sure Beverly has it so that we can get it in your hands. People have asked for it, and I apologize. I look up my notes and I'm thinking, my gosh, I didn't do that. Well, we finally did it. Okay. We're also going to get into more of the aesthetics of the areas of the neighborhoods because we haven't done that. I don't know how long we've done that, but that's the follow-up to what you learned in the first part of Module 1. And if you skip that, it could cause you to unnecessarily spend more time out in the field, all right, than you need to. So we're going to go over aesthetics that kind of basically wraps up the school report, the melissadata.com, the zipcodes.com, which we'll go into tonight also. We haven't done that for a while. And also the Planning Commission website data. All right, so first thing first, we're going to get into some questions here. And the first one is from Kelly Boyd. Hey, Kelly, how are you? And Kelly is asking, do you simplify your paperwork by having a generic set for your investors or investor types? Absolutely, Kelly. So what I do is I have saved on my computer, desktop and laptop for that matter, both of them, in a file structure. I've got my basically your, if you think of your hard drive, you got your C:\\\, and then usually documents. And in documents, you might have several different paths, some personal, some business. So whatever directory you have set up for your agent activities, what I would do would I was break it up into two subdirectories, one for buyers and one for sellers, and in there keep a generic set of paperwork. Now, it used to be necessary to do that. The good news is nowadays, because of our technology, particularly if you're a Keller Williams agent, I know we have agents on here who are not Keller Williams. You have your e-edge or e-agency, and basically if you go to mykw.kw.com, you have access to all this. And then so your forms libraries are all online in the cloud. They're cloud-based, so you have access to them all the time. Now, I still like to keep a current set of paperwork for each type of client on my computers. Because if I'm taking my laptop when I'm traveling and all of a sudden I don't have internet access, at least I can operate. Okay, so I still think it's a good practice to keep those on your computers, guys. In fact, I would go as far as I actually still do this. I keep it set on a flash drive, so it doesn't matter where I am, who I'm with, or what I'm doing. I've always got it set on my flash drive that I can plug in any computer, including a client's computer, right on the spot and get the job done. So good question, Kelly. I hope that answered your question. Okay, let's see. This is Peter. Peter says, "Hi, Gary. If possible, could we go a step further in Melissa data? I'm not sure how you draw the polygram, you mean. When I click on the routes, it just lists the streets but doesn't show the drawing of the polygram so that I can copy an MLS. Perhaps I'm doing something wrong." Well, you know what? That's interesting, because I wonder if they changed the format of that website. It's possible, Peter, they did that. So let's see if I can pull it up and we'll go through an example. I hope I've got it on this laptop. I know it's on my desktop. So good question there. So let me check the others and we'll get back to that. That may be the first one we get into since we're already on the subject. Okay, this is Kelly. Have you considered writing articles, newsletter, and having subscriptions that we can send to our potential investors rather than writing them all ourselves? We are doing that, Kelly. I have a call into a guy named Sean Buck, and it turns out he's one of the best people to do this nationally for different industries. And what you do is you give him basically your content, and he formats it and takes care of everything. So and you can have printed versions and electronic versions. So look for that after the holidays. He's quite busy. And I don't want to just do a cheap, just get something out the door kind of thing. I want something that it's actually meaningful for everybody. So the answer is yes, and it's very, very close to being in production. So good question, Kelly. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back to Peter Lamb's question first, just because it's live right here, and we actually have a school report up, and more importantly, we have Peter's picture of melissadata.com. So Peter, let me look at this first. This is what you sent me. This is melissadata.com. And for everybody who's online right now, let me see if Peter's email is still up. Hang on one second. Okay, let me get out of here because I've got the other version up already. Yes, it's saved. Okay, so here's Peter's question. Hope all is well. Quick question, Gary. The attachment shows 594 apartment count, and I'm sure he means for one carrier out. 594 apartments, but only 189 residents. Does that mean that there are a lot of vacancies? I'm not sure how to interpret the data because in Module 1, the example you show always has higher residential count than apartment count, which would make sense. So let's go to the blown up version of what Peter sent, which is right here. So here's a couple right here: apartment count 125, residential count 340. And here it is. What he's asking about. Apartment count is 594, and yet residential count is 189. That's interesting because I've never seen a discrepancy that great. Like look at the one above it: 12 apartments and residential count 346. That right there, that will be kind of crazy too, just as crazy as this is. So I'm not sure what the answer is right off the top of my head, Peter. Generally speaking, what I'm really concerned about anyways, or what I'm interested to know is the apartment count, number one. Number two is the average household salary. And more importantly, I'd say close second behind number one is more important than salaries even, is the average value, average property value. So average property value and unit count are my two primary concerns, what I'm mostly interested in, followed by the average household income. Okay, and then I would say finally the residential count. I mean, some of these numbers, this is a strange mix here. I'm not sure. But look at some of these: 42 apartments and 332 residential count. Oh, I know what it is. In these cases here, in that carrier route, there may in fact be 332 people living there, but there's only 42 apartments. In other words, the rest are single-family homes. So, any case. Up here, then what would the answer be going the other way around? And I really don't know, but I would say there definitely is not, they're not all vacancies. That just would not make sense at all. And look at the number of businesses. There's only two businesses. Apartment count 594. That's a lot of apartments for one carrier route. But with the residential count only 189, that's got to be an anomaly. That just doesn't make sense. If you go in the other way, it makes sense because you got 346 people living there. Only 12 apartments. What that means is there's a lot more single-family homes. So I would have to submit a question actually to melissadata.com. There is a help box from what I remember, and ask them about this specific case, Peter. Matter of fact, you might want to try that and see what answer you get. Okay. Now let's do this. I want to see, hang on one second, if I can find, see if I actually have melissadata.com on my desktop and see if they change some of the technology on us. Here it is. Here's one right here. Okay, so let's plug in. Well, let's just see what that is. This must be in California because it's 945 zip code. So I must have done this for somebody up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So let's see what happens. Here we go. Now let's click on. Oh, these have a lot of apartments here. Look at that. Let's just click on one of these. C19. And okay, over here, so if you look at this map, Peter, you'll see you've got the numbers over here, Cleveland Place, Farewell Place. So if we go over here, and there's the zip codes, by the way, and you click on map, okay, now you get the map view. Whoop. Oh, Fremont. That's Fremont, California, East Bay Area, on the east side of the San Francisco Bay. So there you get your map view, and that's the center of. Let's just see what happens. I don't think anything's going to happen there. I don't think that's live. Let me go back here. So what you do, Peter, is this gives you the zip code plus the 4-digit extension, gives you the basic street name, and shows you on a map exactly where it is. Now, what I'm wondering here is. It used to be, let me just click on another one, see what I get. Let's try, what the heck, let's just try the very next one. What you used to get is it actually would show the, like an highlighted area like this, the actual, oh, wait a minute, here it is right here. It's in the blue perimeter, there it is. So everything in the blue here is what is in that carrier route. Follow what I'm saying here? I believe that's the case here. Is that right? Yeah. I think that's the carrier route, the blue line. Okay. Okay. In any case, let me go back to the original screen. Actually, let me go back here. Hang on one second. I need to find. I'm losing my bearings here. Is there another map? That's that map there. Let's get out of here. I want to go backwards, so hang on one second. So Peter, let me try, let me see if I can get back to your map. 02169. Okay, hang on one second. 02169. 02169, submit, and okay, there's a carrier routes, and let's just click on this guy right here and see what we get. Easily integrate marketing data into your applications. Okay, that's all their marketing mumbo jumbo. All right, carrier routes by zip code. Displays a list of carrier routes, 5-digit zip codes. Type the carrier route, boom, boom, number of deliveries, carrier routes updated, lists where for Excel and online, verifies corrects. Okay, that's all the marketing stuff. Let me see how long this is. That's quite a long ways here. And look at this, it actually gives you the apartment numbers, okay, within their codes. Let's just click on one of these. I don't know what we're going to get here because I've never seen it get down to the actual apartment numbers, which is pretty interesting. So I think now I can see that's why they're giving us a particular pinpoint. 995 Southern Artery, Quincy, Mass. 02169. How can we improve this lookup? Send to a friend. Okay. We're already looking at map view. Let's see what satellite view looks like. Oh, cool. Okay. Let me go back to map view because I think I see. So, Peter, is what you're saying, I think before you said you're getting the street, which is this here. Okay. When you first click on your zip code, it does give you the streets, Arnold Street, Arnold Street, Arnold Street. Okay. And then you get the 4-digit zip code with the 5-digit zip code with the 4-digit extension. So is what you're saying that when you click on this, you're only seeing a pinpoint there, or is what you were saying? I think what you were saying before is you were not getting a map at all. Let me go back to my. That wait a minute. You know what? I'm sorry. Hang on, guys. I got to get back to the webinar. Let me go back to Peter's question because that's where that question. If possible, could we go step by step? Listen, I'm not sure how you draw a polygram. When I click on the routes, it just lists the streets but doesn't show the drawing of the polygram so I can copy an MLS. So I think I showed you how to get the map. What I wasn't seeing, although I did see it one time, was kind of like the blue route. And some of these others, maybe because they don't give you the blue route, is because they are apartments and they only give you apartment ranges. One building may be a route, for example. But if we went to a residential route, you might see that blue line. Try that, Peter, tomorrow, and then give me a call or an email or text and let me know if that works for you. If it doesn't, we can always go to the U.S. Postal Service and ask them, tell them, here's the route we want. Can you give us the map? And they actually will do that too. We used to do that in the beginning. Before we had melissodata.com, we would get the routes from the U.S. Postal Service, and they actually would print them and give them to you. Okay, let's go forward here. Let's see. That was Kelly Boyd's question. This is Guy. Okay, isn't residential detached single family home? This is from Guy. So isn't residential detached single family? Yes, single residential detached is a single family home. Okay. Let's see. Lana, is it possible that residential count is residential non-apartment? And that, I'm not sure that's a good question. Let me go back here and let's see. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Residential, I think, is the total number of residents in the area, while the apartment count just gives you the apartment count. Some of them you'll see there's no apartments, like right here, okay? 0 apartments, that means everybody here lives in a single family home, all right? So I'm okay with all that, I understand that. What I'm not sure of is why there's sometimes a lot of apartments and a smaller resident count than there are apartments. That's a strange one, I've never seen that before. However, what's most important is when it comes to apartments is how many apartments are living there, because once you do your analysis, you'll find out if there's a problem with vacancies. Okay, and you don't do that anyways till you do this stuff first. So the analysis always comes after you go through the areas and figure out where you want to be and what particular streets and neighborhoods you want to be in. Let's see. This is Scott Mosley. I think the apartment count is actual units and not buildings. That is true. The actual apartment count is the number of units, Scott. Okay, this is Guy. There was only one address on the apartment. It needs to be a larger area to get the blue line. Correct. That's what I think too. That's exactly what I think. Okay, this is Peter Lamb. Peter Lamb says, yes, that is correct. I only see a pinpoint. There are a lot of streets, so wasn't sure how to most efficiently draw the actual polygram. So should I be clicking on every single map link and draw one by one? That would be a longhand way of doing it, Peter. Yeah, give that a try. Do it tomorrow. Try it tomorrow, and then give me a call or an email or a text message. Okay. Um, this is Tammy. Hey Gary, we were actually figured out how to graph any given carrier route in an area that we identified as desirable by the school report. It's painstakingly long to draw but possible. Question is, what do we do after that? That's the kind of where we're bogged down. Excellent. So Tammy, that's exactly what we're going to get into tonight. Okay. So hang on to your seats. Let's see. Guy says, I believe the residential count is only single family residences, not residents. Oh, I see what you're saying. You know what? I think you're right, Guy. I think you're exactly right. Okay. This is Olga. Hi, Olga. Please forgive my interruption. It is my first webinar. Why are we looking at this info beside vacancies? Beside vacancies. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Olga. Why are we looking at this info beside vacancies? I don't see vacancies on this chart. Yeah, and by the way, I think the apartment count is counting the number of apartments, and the residential count is counting the number of houses. I think that's what we just figured out, and I believe that to be the case. Okay, vacancy information. Yeah, vacancy information, Olga, you're going to get that when let's say you identify a particular area, a lot of apartments, decent salaries, decent property values, and then you're going to find by using the letter that we give you in the program to identify the people that own those properties and write them. And if you or your clients decide to pursue those properties, at that point, yes, you're going to get all the information you need, including vacancies. So you're going to use what we call the opportunity evaluator to analyze those. And we're going to not talk about that tonight because tonight we're going to have our hands full just getting through what I want to get through tonight because Tammy hit the nail on the head. A lot of people are at that point right now, and I want to get into that. So perfect segue from Tammy. So let's go dig into it. Let's see. Hang on one second here. Let's just let me do this, guys. Let me get to Scott's email first because I promised him we do that, and that's I don't want to go back on my promise. All right. This is from Scott Mosley, and then we'll get into the subject that we're going to cover tonight, okay? All right, I supplied a copy of school report to my market center. They are attempting to utilize broker metrics, which only provides data to specific areas such as city, county, subdivisions, but not schools. So, Scott, what they want to do is to build that report, they need to use MLS searches, okay? So the search would be, for example, let's say what would be a good school district? Spring Hill School District, okay, southeast of Nashville. Spring Hill School District, you want to see what's active and you want to see what's sold. And with each of those categories, you want to see it in price bands. So one search would be Spring Hill School District, active between 150 and 200,000. And then Spring Hill active between 2 and 250 and so forth and so on. Same thing was sold. So each of those are individual MLS searches. You can't use broker metrics for that. It's not going to work. They actually have to write individual searches and save them because they're going to update this Excel spreadsheet every 90 days. And by the way, here's the actual original Excel spreadsheet. So everybody's going to get this in tomorrow's email. I'll have Beverly send out the original Excel spreadsheet for that you can see. Look, I click on that, I can update it. You're going to get the same thing I'm looking at here. Okay. So back here, okay, let's see. Scott says, all sites you mentioned to locate properties, wouldn't those properties all be listed on the MLS so you're searching more efficiently? Or are these sites we are sharing with to train the investor to use. Yeah, so the school report, Scott, is in fact based only on MLS data. However, you're going to be using other tools like the melissadata.com and the Planning Commission website information to do more research, and those cover all properties, whether they're listed or have ever been listed or not. You're also going to be using county tax records that, of course, basically show all properties in a county, not just those on the MLS. So the answer is we look at things, conclusively, every property in the area, whether it's on the MLS or not, or ever has been. Okay. Let's see, number 3, how are we protecting ourselves with the investor? Meaning once we teach them how to do these things, why wouldn't they just use another realtor? I can't imagine this occurring because we have established ourselves as an expert for them. Just curious. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Scott. I don't think anybody, and you can ask anybody on the webinar here, if they've ever had a problem using these tools to show their investors. Did the investor ever say, see you later, I'm going to another realtor? I personally never heard of it. I've never had a problem myself, because you're exactly right. This is a relationship business, and you're building these relationships from scratch. So you're showing them this information that, quite frankly, no other agent's showing them, and there's like a natural affinity and a natural loyalty that goes along with that. Is it possible you might have a scoundrel every now and then? I'm sure it's possible because they're out there. But I think because of the way we identify them in our marketing and screen them, interview them before we work with them, I think that's why we never hear this as being a problem. I've never once heard of another student ever saying, hey, I lost a guy because he went somewhere else, after you've given him all the tools and shown him how to do this stuff. But nonetheless, good question, because the world is the way it is, right? Okay, let's get to tonight's subject. So I'm going to walk through this, guys, and I'm going to slow down, and we're going to work our way through the sequence of events, and then we're going to get to where Tammy and Ken are and move forward from there and help them actually get to that next step, and everyone else on the call here who's wanting to do this and go back and basically go use these basic steps here. So let's look here. Here's a school report, and let's just pick this one here because it's right in front of me. South Butler, we can see in the last 90 days, actually I think this one is 6 months. Yeah, this is a 6-month report, and I think it's from a year. Yeah, it's from last year. In the last 6 months, 18 homes have sold, and yet only 9 are currently active. Okay. Now we can find other examples of other areas, like here's Seneca, 57 sold, 26 active, 86 sold, 24 active. I really like that one. And I like this one too, 59 sold and 10 active. Now we have areas of the country. Matter of fact, I wonder if Adam Curry is on. Adam, if you're on, give me a shout out, because Adam actually created his own school report, guys. And this is several months ago. We determined that in where he is in Ohio, he had many areas to choose from for his investors. In other words, this report isn't going to just show you one area. I mean, look at how many school districts we're talking about. That's one page. Okay. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. There's another one. Another one. Okay. You can see there's all kinds of data out here to look at. So let's just say I like this one right here. I'm going to focus on this one. In the last 6 months, actually, I like this one here, 2 to 250. Perfect, because the median home price right now is around 215 around North America. So in 6 months, 60 homes were sold. That's 6 months per home. I'm sorry, 6 homes per month, and only 10 are currently active. Okay, that tells me this is a great area to do business in, all right? So let's say Tammy and Ken, and for everyone else on the call, we've looked at this whole report, and we determined that this is one area we want to focus on, where 6 times as many homes are sold than are currently active, all right? In the $200,000 to $250,000 range. Now, in your area, this may be $400,000 to $500,000. This is what I would consider median price range, and for this particular area, and also for the North America, your particular area might be higher. Like Lana's up in an area where it's definitely higher. And matter of fact, Tammy and Ken's for you, and so is Dave's on the call. I think, yeah, from Boston, Mass. His is up there probably in high 300s. So it's all relative. But let's just say we're going to use this as an example. So we figured on Seneca Valley, and we figured on 2 to 250. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this school district, figure out what zip codes are in the school district. Okay. And I can do that. Let me go here by using this tool right here. Okay, and we don't really focus on this a lot because it doesn't give a lot of information, but it's www.zipcodes.com. Now, up in Canada, we can't use this. We have to use Canada Post, all right? And we actually have an entirely different module 1 just for Canada. And I think we've been through that already before. If for you guys in Canada, if you need me to do that again, please let me know, okay? But zipcodes.com, I can see information at the county level, okay? And all these demographics, beautiful information, age, salaries, the whole 9 yards, all right? I can also see all of the areas, all the zip codes in that county. So what I can do is this. Here's the county level information, all right? Then I can go and plug in, oops, excuse me. I thought I had a view of a specific area. Yeah, I don't have them, but what you can do is you can pick all these zip codes. Here's all your zip codes for the county. And if you know your school district is, say, Bridgeville, for example, okay, and you get the zip code for Bridgeville because it tells you, you click on this, and it gives you the zip code, plus all the demographics for that zip code, okay? Then what you do, guys, is go back here to melissadata.com, and let's go look at we looked at some examples of apartments. Let's go look at a good example of a flip area. Look, there's no apartments in this zip code, okay? Only residential, only single family home. So we look at all these carrier routes, and if we just determine that we need to be flipping a home between 200 and 250,000, okay, I'm only going to be looking in areas, I only want to look in areas, carrier routes, that have homes between $200,000 and $250,000. Now, this is just one zip code. There may be multiple zip codes in that school district. In fact, there likely are. So what I do is I bring up the map for that school district, okay, 23662, and I see all the carrier routes. Remember, B is for P.O. Box, so you don't look at those. C means carrier route. So look over here, and I look at the average home price. And I can see in here, here's the first one is in that range, 200 to 250. And then I see there's another one that's close but not quite. And there's one down here that's close but not quite. 276 is pretty darn close. So I might include that, but chances are I'm not, because I want to be very specific. I want to use the data based on what I've learned in the school report to drive the rest of my activities. So what I would do then, Ken and Tammy, is I would click on this, okay, carrier route 1 and 23662, and let's just go do that. And it was carrier routes. Let's see, is that where I want to be? Let me click on that. Here it is. Now let me click off on that, actually, sorry. Hang on one second, guys. Carrier routes, let me back up here. And I think what I just said, it was 23662. So let's go back there, 23662. Type that in, 23662. Submit. Now I'll get the same area, and you can see, aha, check this out. Values have dropped by about 15,000 in that one area, okay? This area is about the same. I remember that was 292, and this one's down about 7 or 8,000, 276 to 267. So then what I would do is click on this one, okay? And I get for 23662, I get all the 4-digit extensions, and there is a lot of them, okay? Now, a 4-digit extension is a very finite area, okay? So now I see what you guys are talking about. It used to be I could get a the route and what this is giving me now. If I click on this, let's see if I recognize any of these streets. I don't. Oh, there's a couple. Messick is a big family name down there in Poquoson, Virginia, by the way. They pretty much run everything there. So let's just pick on one of these. Map view. That's probably not such a good area from what I remember. Okay, and there it is. So this is now I see what you're saying. Instead of getting a area like I thought you would get, you're getting a specific pinpoint here. Now, I would like to think that if you click on that, here you go, 1400 to 1436 even Poquoson Avenue. So there it is, guys. This is what you get. You're getting the actual house numbers. So house numbers 1400 to 1436 on Poquoson Avenue. So what you have to do is you have to click on, I think I double clicked it. I might have right clicked it. Let's try that again. Oop. When I just did it before. Come on, computer. Well, that's interesting. I wonder why that, you did it before. Whoops. So let me go back here and see if I can get that to duplicate. So said carrier routes, there it is. Okay. So we know on Poquoson Avenue, house numbers between 1400 and 1436. We need to go back one more screen before I can finalize this. Hang on one second. Yep, zip code 23662. Click on that. All right. We know in carrier route 1, we've got our average home price of 187. So we know carrier route, we know we want in carrier route 1. And then we go here, and this is everything in carrier route 1. Now, all the details, all these 4-digit extensions are very finite. And you can see here, number 2 to number 98 on Amos Circle. Okay. So what you can do now is, if you're searching in that area and you go into your MLS system, and I wish I had access to everybody's MLS, but I don't, you can go into map view and go on to that street for Amos Circle. All right. And if you're able to, I don't, you could circle the whole street if you want to. But Ken and Tammy said they figured out a way to do this, and I want to find out, Ken and Tammy, what you did. Maybe you can show me Monday night, because it used to be you could click on this, all right, and it would show you the actual route. Now, what's weird is it's giving me this here, and when I used to click on it a moment ago, there it is. Okay, all it is, I dragged my cursor over it and it brought that up. Okay, Amos Circle, numbers 2 to number 98. So in any case, I hope that helps you guys. At least you have that, and we need to figure out, I'll figure out from Ken and Tammy what they're doing and see if we can propagate that throughout the group here. Because it used to be I would get a little rectangle. It would actually enclose the street, okay? Also, I used to be able to get a zip code view. Okay, actually, you can still do that. There's screens that'll give you that, by the way, zip code view. So in any case, let me go back to the subject matter. I want to get back. I want to keep going. Essentially, what you're trying to do here, guys, is narrow down. You've got your data narrowed down by school district and price range. Okay, and once you do that, you come here and you figure out what are the carrier routes that are in that price range. And this is what you want right here. Now, if you're going to search for properties, what you can do is if you email the Postal Service or even call them sometimes, they will actually give you all the addresses on that route, and it's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Okay, so you can get all the addresses on that route. That's probably your biggest shortcut right there. Just call them and ask them what is the route. Give me the house number, the houses on that route, and they'll give it to you. All right. Now, once you have that, we're still not done. Okay, because we need to validate that the area we're looking in is a good area. And here's how we do it. This is the Planning Commission website, And you can see there's a lot of data here. I've been going through screen after screen after screen of information. Okay, I mean, just look at all the stuff you get. All right, um, types of income, percentage breakdown of income, what people make, okay, in the family unit, how many are married, how many are single. You get all this information, okay. And I want to give you the one example that I like to use the most because it's most important to me when I'm flipping homes is this example here of age. Now you can, by the way, you can get everything on these websites from, age, sex, race, religion, salary level, income level, everything you could possibly want to know. And is it all important? I would say it is, but is it all necessary to actually learn and know for every single area? I'd say no. But one of the things you do want to know is this. Age is a very big driver in our society for behavior and actions, okay? If you look at demographics by age only, you can make certain determinations. So I like to use this for my flippers because I can see the breakdown of age in 5-year increments, okay? So I know if Ken and Tammy, if you're flipping a home, or if Teresa, if you're flipping a home, let's say this is Charlottesville. These areas, by the way, this is Avalon Borough. The areas or municipality are almost identical to census data tracks, which makes it very nice for us because you go into your MLS system. Avalon is actually one particular area on the MLS. It's an exact match. Avalon on the Planning Commission website is the same exact area that's on your MLS system. So when I'm looking here at age group, I see the largest group happened to be age 50 to 54 in year 2010. Okay, it's 2010. They're now 55 to 59 years old, and they're getting ready to retire. So if you're flipping a home, I like to use this information, like age, for example, to determine if I'm flipping a home between $200,000 and $250,000, all right, that's a median price home in this area, and I know I'm going to be attracting a middle class family to live in that median price home with the average of 2.3 children. I know that they're going to want to move to an area where there's other people in their age group, typically 25 to 45 years old, who also have 2.3 children. They're not going to want to, the person buying the flip from you is not going to want to be moving to an area where everybody's getting ready to retire. They're going to see that. They're going to drive around and say, wait a second, we don't see any children around here. We don't see any swing sets. We don't see any other kids in the driveway shooting basketball. Okay. So you might have a good deal on your hands when you first bought it, at least seemingly on paper. And then when you go to sell it, you'll find out that the market that you're going after, middle class family, 2.3 children, looking for a medium price home, while your home may be medium price, it's in an area where everybody's going to retire, and it's going to take you a lot longer to sell it because you put in new countertops, new carpeting, done some landscaping. Yes, you can sell it, and it may attract another couple who's downsizing from a much bigger house, but chances are they're not going to move into this area too, either. So you've got to find, properties in the right areas with the right demographics. Look for numbers where these numbers are much higher, 25 to 45. Okay, this group right here should have a lot more people if you're going to be flipping homes in this area. That's just one example of what I wanted to show you, and that's how we work ourselves from the school report, then using zipcodes.com, then using melissadata.com to narrow it down further, then using Planning Commission website data to narrow it down further. Now we're still not done. Okay. Oops, let me get out of here real quick. Hang on one second. Get out of here, and I want to go back here. And I'm going to take you to the next part. Okay. Which is here. All right. Before I go into this next little section here, let me check for questions real quick. Hang on one second. Okay. Let's see, where to leave off. Okay, here we go. This is from Guy. Guy says, do you recommend using only this high school since school district is such a large area? Stats can vary greatly about elementary school. So, Guy, it's a good question. There are certain states, and Virginia is one of them, where the school system starts off at the state level and then goes to the county level, and it stops there. In most other states, you've got state level, county level, and school district level. There could be multiple school districts in a county. In Virginia, in particularly Northern Virginia, as a matter of fact, that's where Tammy and Ken are. I highly recommend you do use the high school code, okay, because a high school is going to have a couple of junior highs or middle schools associated with it and several or more elementary schools. In other words, a high school is going to represent a pretty decent size area, okay? But that's why, honestly, Guy, that's why we go to melissadata.com to narrow it down further. We want to find out within that school district, what are the best areas, not just because we drive by them and we see them, but because we actually did the analysis using Melissa data and, more importantly, the Planning Commission website data to determine precisely within those good areas what are the ideal areas for people flipping homes, or in the case of rentals, people buying rentals. Okay, so back to your initial answer is yes, definitely a high school code in many parts of U.S. Now, unfortunately, in Canada, we can't search by school. Okay, it's just we have to do what's called an area report. We literally have to start out at the area level. Okay, so it's kind of different up there, kind of interesting. Okay, this is Scott says, thanks for asking my questions. You're welcome, Scott. This is Guy. Okay, go back and click on the map on the far left of the carrier route listing. You know what? I already brought that. I took that down. Let me go back here, Guy, and I will start over. Hang on one second. Let's bring up, whoops, melissadata.com. Okay. Let's bring up that one. Now, let me go back to Guy's. Okay, so Guy is saying, go back and click on the map on the far left of the carrier route listing. Map on the far left. Well, I clicked on that. I wonder if he means this. Let's see what this is here. That's actually county code. Enter the county name or state abbreviation. Now, we don't want to do that. Let me go back to where I was. And maybe he is giving me more information. So we did click on map here. We've done that before. Or let me see, Guy, if you've got more. I saw your name down here a few more times. Sorry, right side. Okay, yep. So we did that, Guy, obviously. At the top of this page is a blue button for map for carrier route. One, is that it? Kelly Boyd. Okay, hang on one second. Let's go back there. And, okay, let's click on this one here. Well, that was weird. Hang on, Kelly. We'll get back there. Click on map. Doesn't like that carrier route. Let me go back to another carrier route. And I thought that was a. Let's go down here. Let's try this one. Lookup is available. Registered users only. Click here to sign in to register. I don't know what they're talking about. That's weird. This thing stopped working for me. We were getting the map view before, and for some reason we're not getting it now. Map, lookups, carrier route, public services, industry support, resources, lookup company. Well, one thing for sure, guys, they definitely have changed this. We don't want to buy a list of all addresses, zip code. We don't need to do that for our purposes. We just want the street numbers and the house numbers. Okay, that's all we want. Let me try this one more time. And I'm sure this is something I don't want to do right now. Okay, let's do this. I forgot I don't have a create an account now. Okay, we won't go through all that because it's going to take up too much time. But let me go back to my panel and see what Kelly was saying to do. Okay, so Kelly says at the top of this page is a blue button for map for carrier route 1. And I didn't see that. Okay, this is from Ray. Hey Ray, how you doing? The pinpoint IS is the actual route. It's so small and detailed, there isn't room for a area circle. Okay, well we should be able to expand on that then. If that's the case, we should be able to expand on that. And maybe that's just I didn't go far enough with it. Okay, Guy says go back to the carrier routes list and the zip codes on the right, click on the map. Scott says I had to register a free account as well to use it. I think it may have been on the page where the address showed. Okay. And let's see, this is from Lana. Let me highlight this. Oops, hang on one second. Let me bring this up. Hang on one second, guys. Let me go to, actually I was going to show you guys that. Let me do this here. And click on that. 23662. Aha! There you go. And that's from Lana. Thanks, Lana. And guess what, guys? Lana's the Canadian on the webinar here today. She's the one who helped us figure. So Lana, were you doing? Is that you that said click on the blue button? Yeah, I think it was. Okay. So let's see. There is your carrier route, and let's see if that'll tell us what carrier route that is. Portrait landscape full. Okay, let me bring this back over, guys, and see what Lana has to say about that. First of all, thank you, Lana. And let's go back here to find her original message, and that'll probably give us some insight. Okay, I'm almost there, no problem. Lana says, lookups, zip code maps. There you go. Okay, thank you, Lana. Woo! All right, so that's gets us back on track. Thank you very much. Now, where was I? Oh, I know where I was. Back here. We're still not done yet, guys. Okay. When you determine areas, especially if you're new to the world of investing, or even if you want to invest yourself and you haven't invested yet, even though we just use all the data to determine everything we want to determine, like mathematically speaking, it's a good area for return on investment. Data tells us it's a good area. It's where if we want to flip homes, so we're flipping homes where people want to live, and we could determine that based on demographics. We're going to be flipping medium price homes in middle class areas where middle class families moving in with 2.3 children. What we do now is we get out there and we go to validate based on aesthetics. And here's where the rubber meets the road. I mean that in a literal sense too. What most people have done prior to this program is they will go out in their cars first and drive around. And that's what all the old gurus were telling people. Get in your car, go drive around and check out the areas. That is a huge expense of time, energy, and money and gas. Okay? Because you could go around and drive through areas that look very nice, only to look at the data to determine, you know what, that really isn't the best area to be flipping in because nothing's moving there. There's no activity. Nobody's selling, nobody's buying. So what we do is we determine the areas first based on the data. Where are people buying? Where are people selling? What do the demographics look like? And then, only then, do we get in our car and go drive around and look at those specific areas. Okay, you can do it on a Saturday. I like doing this on Saturday mornings when people are out cutting grass or shoveling snow or raking mulch or whatever the case is, all right? So let's pick up where that point is right now. So we've gone through, we've determined everything based on data that it makes sense to be in these areas. Now what we do is we go through there and do what's called an aesthetic test. Basically, look at things using our eyes and powers of observation, and think in terms of consumers. Remember, consumers are doing the same thing, all right? So we need to rank our areas. There's basically A areas, B areas, and C areas. And the A area is usually luxury, okay? And most parts of the country, and in Canada too for that matter, luxury is 500,000 and above. However, we have KW offices in say like Manhattan, for example, where there's some areas where the lowest price is, or excuse me, median price is $6 million, okay? We've got places around San Francisco where it's 1.3 million. Places in Northern Virginia where it's easily $700,000, $800,000, okay? Then you got places in Lynchburg where it's probably like 189, 185, excuse me, Lynchburg, Virginia. You've got places in Georgia, in Northern Florida, where they're still down well below 200,000, okay? The bottom line is, for each area, this is relative, but it's very easy to determine what those A, B, and C areas are, okay? In fact, if you go to any lender, they will tell you what the luxury areas are, okay? And they'll tell you the price range is anything from 800,000 and up, okay? It's very easily, we could spend a whole day talking about all the different areas around North America and how you determine what that price range breakdown is, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the average for North America, which is 500,000 and above as luxury. That's considered an A area. Now, generally speaking, you do not want to be flipping homes in this area because of volume, all right? When you're looking at volume, all right, you want to be flipping homes where there's the highest amount of volume, because flippers, the seasoned veterans, what happens is they get to the point where they realize, hey, they're wasting their time trying to flip $1 million house, because they realize most people are buying in the $500,000 range and nobody's buying or selling in the $1 million range. So it may sound glamorous, sell $1 million house, but nobody's selling and nobody's buying, all right? And again, it's all relative. That could be, if this was Burlingame, California, which is just south of the Bay Bridge Tunnel, okay, between the ocean and the bay, the median price range is 1.3 million, okay? So in any case, the bottom line is this: between the A, B, and the C areas, and you're flipping homes, you want to be flipping in the B areas, which is pretty much your median price home range for that area. And it could be a wide swing, guys. It could be, honestly, it could be, $300,000 $400,000 price swing in prices. All right. A areas, again, luxury. Generally, you're not going to do a lot of business there. The B areas is where you're going to do a lot of flipping. All right. This is where most of the activity occurs. And if flippers want their money back like ASAP, that's why they should be flipping in these medium price areas, because that's where the most people are selling and the most people are buying. And oddly enough, that's exactly where the middle class families are living, and that's where the people who have 2.3 children are living. All right. That's the B areas. The C areas, okay. By the way, here's a little note here. If you look at the stats on your MLS system, you can fine tune it to see what areas are selling the most, highest volume, shortest number of days, and that's like our school report. All right. Any case, C areas. This is a broad range too, and this is generally where you're going to be buying your rentals. Now, let me qualify this. There is a sweet spot for buying rentals, and when you look in an area, if an area is between 1/3 and 2/3 tenant occupied, that's a good place to be buying rentals. Okay, if it's greater than 2/3 owner occupied, which means less than 1/3 tenant occupied, that's generally a good area to be flipping homes. Within those broad categories, and by the way, I would repeat this webinar tomorrow so you can remember that. Remember, 2/3 and above owner occupied is where you want to be flipping. Between 1/3 and 2/3 tenant occupied is where you want to buy your rentals. That area generally is going to fall between the high range and C. C is going to have low, medium, high. So will the B range. B is going to be low, medium, high. So in the lower end of the B neighborhoods and in the upper end of the C neighborhoods is usually the best areas to buy rentals. Okay. in the middle range of the C neighborhoods, you can buy rentals there too. What happens is the lower down you go in price range in the C area, okay, if you go down way down too far low, you're going to end up in areas where you might have higher cap rates, but that doesn't mean they're good deals, because remember, cap rate represents risk and reward. And so too often investors ignore the risk side of the equation. They focus on the high cap rate thing. I'm going to make a lot of money. What they don't realize is they're going to have to work really hard and suffer a lot of stress to realize that cap rate, right? So I like buying rentals in the middle of the C areas and the upper end of the C areas. And every now and then I'll go into the lower end of the B areas, all right? And it's in the middle to upper end of the B areas where I'm going to flip. Lower end of the B areas, I'm going to buy rentals. Okay, makes sense. Now, when you're looking at these areas, let's just look at the C's, for example. In these C areas, you're going to see less people planting flowers. You're going to see less people trimming shrubbery. You're going to see fewer off-street parking, fewer driveways, fewer garages, okay? If you ever get into an area that looks risky, okay, it could be because it is risky. And I do not recommend going down into the lower end of the C range, which is C minus, which could be potentially traffic zones, okay? If you don't see a lot of foot traffic in an area, that usually means it's a low C, and you don't want to be investing there. I don't care if it's rentals or flips or anything. When you get into the middle C and the upper C, you'll begin to see more foot traffic. These are the aesthetics, guys. These are what I want you to take notes on. You want to see more foot traffic, more people jogging, walking their dogs, walking to the market, walking to their doctors and dentist appointments. That is a great sign of a good solid area to invest in, okay? Foot traffic. They don't have to have the prettiest landscaping. As long as they have some landscaping, some shrubbery, maybe some flowers every now and then, that's pretty darn good. And I like those areas. And some of them will be in the C areas, by the way, too. The higher end of the C areas, for example, are great examples of where you'll find foot traffic, but not a lot of very beautiful landscaping, okay? Aesthetics in the B areas, you definitely will now see more people have with shrubbery, trimming the shrubbery that's shaped, contoured. And you'll also see more flowers being planted. You'll see more off-street parking, and you'll see a pretty good mix of ownership and rentals within an area. Some parts of the B range will have more rentals. Some parts of the B range will have more ownership. But predominantly, you'll see better aesthetics. Again, obviously you'll have more foot traffic here, but more importantly, more precise is you will see more flowers, more shrubbery being planted, more ornamental trees, more flower beds around the trees. You won't see stuff out in the front yard. You won't see toys scattered around. In these C areas, sometimes you'll begin to see stuff left out on the front porch. Not in a bad way, just people spend more time out there. You're going to see more chairs and tables and things like that. You'll see that in the C areas. You won't see that a lot in the B areas, okay? So those are some of the telltale signs that you're going to be looking for, the aesthetics in an area. So let me do this. Let me go back here and look for questions, because I know I just gave you a handful. Let me see who else I had questions for here, and I don't see anything more here. Okay, I think I'm all caught up. Yeah, looks like I'm caught up on questions here. All right, that's what we did tonight, guys, is we kind of went back to the basics, and I apologize for getting scattered there for a moment with melissa.com, but just like, and you'll learn on these webinars, these are not scripted. They're not filtered or screened. This is the real live, real deal. And we worked through these. Again, I apologize because tonight I just wasn't, thanks to Lana, we actually got what we wanted to get out of this, okay? So in any case, if anybody has any questions, feel free to type minutes. I know it's a little bit after 8, but I'm going to stay on as long as you guys want me to. I have a couple of student calls, but But while we're live here, I'd rather give you guys the time to answer your questions. If you think of something later, please email me. And again, we'll use it on next week's webinar. I'm sorry, we're not going to have a webinar next week. We will pick up again. First week of December, we're going to have it Wednesday, December 2nd. Again, that's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I will look for emails from you guys with suggested subject matter. That seems to work out pretty good when we do that. I'm glad this came up tonight because they definitely changed the format, and thanks to Lana, we actually figured out how to actually use that melissadair.com. So, okay. I hope you guys have a wonderful night and an awesome rest of the week and weekend. And I know other than a few of you, I won't see you or talk to you until the week after Thanksgiving. So God bless all of you. Please have a wonderful Thanksgiving with you and your families and friends. I'll be thinking of you and keeping you in my prayers. Lana says happy Thanksgiving. And Canada, we celebrate Thanksgiving back in October. And it was, I think that was Sunday, October 12th or something. Sunday, maybe it was the 11th, October 11th. Let's see, it was the 11th. Okay, and I happened to be in Phoenix at the time. I wasn't even there to celebrate that. So in any case, you guys have a wonderful week. We will see you in 2 weeks, and let me know if you have any questions at all. Thank you very much, and have a great night. Bye-bye.